quick. Who have been your 5 best players in the Big Ten this season? You can take best however you want. You can say your favorite to watch. You can say the guys who have just been the best overall. You can say the guys with the 5 best stats. I don't care. However you want to paraphrase it and make it, or however you want to make it happen. Sonny, who did you have as your 5?
I had Marvin Harrison Jr. Obviously, I think he's the best player in the Big Ten. I had Cooper DeJean just because I think Iowa needed to be representative, and he kind of represents everything about Iowa. I think he's, he had to be on my list. Blake Corum, I think, his counting stats would be even higher. I just read that he didn't even play in a fourth quarter snap until the Penn State game. Otherwise, his numbers would be even better. I want to put in a quarterback, so I put Talia in just because kind of a lifetime achievement award because JJ's obviously kind of fallen off, and Kyle McCord has decent stats, but I don't think he doesn't jump out.
Stats don't indicate who he really is.
Exactly. And finally, of course, I'm putting Jerzon Newton because I think he's the best defensive player in the conference, and it's not close, and he had to be on the list.
Yeah. No, I think that's a good list. I actually had 2 of the same guys. I had Marvin Harrison Jr. and Blake Corum on mine. I know people bring up the yards per rush for Blake Corum. It's not as great as some other people, but you also have to think about how much work this guy gets on the goal line. Now obviously it's not Jerome Bettis or anything like that, right? He's not the bus. But, I mean, this guy has huge thighs. I mean, he's just all muscle below the waist. And so he can really push and make those things happen at the goal line. It is absolutely money when just hand it to this guy, and in 2 or 3 plays, he's going to get it into the end zone within 5 yards. So I feel like he has to be in there, especially when you're one of the best at something in the entire conference. Marvin Harrison Jr. is the other one. I just feel like this Ohio State offense would be nowhere near what it is. I think Treveyon Henderson's really good, but when he's the only option, I think people could shut him down a little bit better, not completely. And then, I had to give some special teams love. So I was going to say Cooper DeJean, but you know what? I'm going to give some love somewhere else because I thought one of you guys would say it. Tory Taylor. All right. I'm not saying he's Heisman.
He's going to be my mention. Yeah.
There you go. But look, guys, he's possibly going to break a record that's been withstanding by Michigan State punter / quarterback / running back for like almost 100 years. I think it was like 1938.
I like that.
Yeah. So when it comes down to it, Tory Taylor, to me, deserves the recognition. Tyler Nubin, I really like him for Minnesota. I know that some other people disagree with me on that, but I just like the way he plays. I think that he is the leader of that Minnesota defense. I know Minnesota's not as good as maybe they should be, but I just really like the way he plays, and I think he's one of the best safeties in not just the Big Ten, but in all of college football. And then my last guy, I know I'm a Buckeye, so I'll be a little biased here, but I feel like he's really underrated because he doesn't have the stats to match it. But Jack Sawyer is kind of my other guy that, he's really, really good in run defense. I don't think he gets enough credit for how well he's been doing there, but he has been doing a lot better these last few games, so I think he gets credit for that. Justin, do you have a 5 or thoughts on our 5?
So I had the first 5 that popped in my head, and a lot of them were on Sonny's list. The only one that just being a Nebraska fan, and I know how much he disrupts the game and how much he anchors this defense, Nash Hutmacher, on that interior line, undefeated wrestler, and that dude is strong as it gets, and I don't think our run defense would be anywhere near it is without him. So just as far as his impact to the game, Nash Hutmacher is one that I'd add to mine. So, but outside of that, Marvin Harrison, I got Cooper DeJean on mine as well. So yeah, and I don't have Corum on mine. I kind of like Treveyon Henderson better than I like Corum. That's just me. But
I probably would have went with Treveyon if he would have played the entire season.
That's the thing. I want him on my top 5 just with how he's playing right now, but he didn't play the full season. But I would put him over. I like him more than Corum, just as far as ability goes. But
Corum has that kind of ace, goal line thing like we were talking about. But Treveyon has that burst and that ability at any point in time. Like we saw it against Minnesota. He gets a hole, he bursts through it, nobody's catching him.
Yep. He's fun to watch, that's for sure.
He is, for sure.